YouTube? It's me, Kristianna. Welcome back to my channel. Hello. Okay, so today we're gonna get into my base makeup routine. I was asked about it on TikTok and I kind of did like a little voiceover situation with a video that the person was like asking me about. Like I did it over top of that video and it gave me the idea that actually I think I just want like an official video about how I do my base. If you don't know what that means, it means like how to kind of like set your face for anything extra. An eyeshadow situation would be extra, lipstick extra, a mascara, eyeliner, whatever, like that stuff would be considered extra, right? And then your base is like your foundation, your eyebrows, maybe your contour and blush situation, just like anything that's going on the face part of your face, if that makes sense, is what I would consider to be like my base. Okay. So before we get started, right? No 2016 eyebrow propaganda, okay? Foolishness and or bullying will be tolerated because I am somebody in 2025 who still rocks a 2016 style eyebrow. And I'm saying it this way because I think that we've come a long way in the way of brows, and I don't do them exactly the way we used to do them in 2016, but my eyebrows are naturally reminiscent because if you look, I don't have much hair on my face as far as eyebrows are concerned. Trying to actually focus the camera for you. Yeah, my eyebrows are not amazing. They used to be very full, like very thick and luscious, believe it or not, but I used to get them waxed way like many moons ago, and at some point I realized that they weren't growing back in. Okay, and this is way before 2016 came up, but I will say that that style of eyebrow really gave me a second chance, okay? To really show the girls what I could do, but also like to just even look like I had some dang on eyebrows, because I really don't. I even have like some bald spots in there if you look. It's a little bit tragic. As you can see, my skin is kind of blemish free, right? And so that kind of helps me too. I'm not someone who would consider myself to have dark under eyes, although I guess maybe I do a little bit, but my concealer foundation situation is sufficient enough that I don't have to do a color correction. I could do a color correction around my mouth, and whenever I'm doing high glam, I will do that. But today we're not doing high glam, we're just doing my normal base routine. I also have a beard, which you can't see right now because I shaved it. But the areas in which I grow my beard are not dark. Luckily. Knocking on wood. What else about my face before we get into it? I have like very reflective skin. I just washed my face and moisturized. That is all I have on my face right now. But even then, like I said, a very happy and like reflective skin generally. So here we go. So speaking of eyebrows, I am an eyebrows first girl, okay? Although I am getting ready to just put a little bit of clear lip gloss on my lips because they're chapped as heck. Yeah, sometimes a little bit becomes a lot, okay? It's fine, it's fine. Better than having dry ashy lips through this whole video. Okay. So my preference is to actually use a pencil for my eyebrows, although sometimes if I'm feeling spicy, I might use a brow palette. This one is from Juvia's Place. It has just like these 4 different shades to kind of get you where you gotta go. I really enjoy this palette, but it is not a part of my regular base routine, but it is something I use often. the pencil is a part of my regular base routine, which I'm just gonna just sharpen just a little bit, not too much because I don't want the ends to like break off. Personally, I don't think I need a super sharp end to be able to do what I gotta do. Okay, but this is from Wet n Wild, and it's a part of their color icon collection, kohl liner collection, and I don't have the color anymore, but I usually pick up whatever's like a dark brown, because my hair, although it's in braids, you can see even through the braids, right? This is ombre hair I have, but you can see through the braids that I naturally have, not naturally my hair's colored brown, like brown with blonde highlights, my natural hair. And so I always use a brown pencil to kind of, I don't know, complement my hair. I know a lot of the girlies have dark hair, prefer black hair. I'm just kind of lifting my brows, getting them situated. But if that's your preference, you can use black, and I do have black here, but I don't use it on my eyebrows. It's a hot take probably though, if you don't have to use black, I wouldn't. I would stick to a very dark brown, especially if you don't know what you're doing, because it's easy to look crazy with black over brown. I just like brushed up my eyebrows. Yeah, let's come in closer. Ooh, yeah, okay, hello. So I just brushed them up, not perfect, but good enough that I can kind of see my natural brow bone and like where everything is supposed to be at. And if you're someone who like is really not good at eyebrows, I kind of do the old-fashioned nose trick on clients that I have, because I don't know their face, like I don't know how things are supposed to be or whatever. And so like being able to take your pencil just to get an idea using this part of the nose, right? And I can see that like I can go out as far as this, like this distance with my eyebrow if I wanted to, and then you can turn the pencil sideways or like whatever you're using to measure and go through your eyeball like how you see me doing. And that will tell you where your arch should be, or like your general area of where your arch should be, and then turn it again to the end of your eye, right? Like there, here, right, the end of your eye. And that'll tell you like where your eyebrow should stop. Now you can like go above and beyond, you can go under, like, you know, these guidelines, but that is generally what I stick to, especially with people I don't know. I think what makes a difference between the eyebrows that I do versus the traditional 2016 eyebrow is that I stay really close to where my natural brows are, versus back in the day we were creating lines that weren't there naturally. And so like I just took this pencil and I just like went and followed the natural line. You see that? Just following the natural line. And then over here you see there is no hair, so I have to kind of stay the course regardless. And then I do the same thing at the top. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I try to again stay as close to my natural brow as possible, even from the top, like this. Okay, then I might go through just a little bit and get some color in the middle of what I just drew. Not a lot, but mostly towards the back, right? And I leave open the front parts of the brow. Then I take an angled brush and I kind of blend out everything I just did within the parameters that I set. But as I'm blending it out, I'm also going towards the front of the brow too and getting some of that color up in the front there. And again, nothing here has to be perfect. Then I turn the brush on its side here and kind of just like sweep into the brow, but also like I'm extending the length of the brow, just using what's already on the brush. I do that so that the front of the brows don't look too thick. I just use what's already on the brush. Then I go back with my little spoolie and I blend some more. Now again, these ends, when you don't have any foundation or anything else on, it looks a little nutty, right? But when we're finished, it'll look good. Gotta trust the process. Also, our brows are sisters, okay? Sometimes they come out like cousins. Sometimes they come out as acquaintances, but they're never twins. Got it? Okay. Distant relatives, you know. Now I'm just gonna take my flat brush and my concealer palette. This one is from Ruby Kisses. You can get it at any hair store, but I really love this palette, and I've hit pan already in so many areas. But I'm just gonna take one color that is like, I think the closest to my skin tone in the palette. And I think this is actually another thing that makes what I'm doing different than the 2016 brow. Back then we were doing halo brows where we wanted the top and the bottom to both be like super like high yellow if you were dark. We off that. But anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and like carve out the brow from the bottom, carve it out from the top. If you don't have a concealer that is like the same color as your skin, you can use foundation. A lot of times I do use foundation, especially for the top, but I actually discovered that this concealer I'm using is the same color as my skin. So I'm also using this time to kind of clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up. Again, sisters, not twins, but this is also your chance to get them to look related. I think it's also helpful if you can focus on not manipulating your face when you're doing this too. Like I'm talking and stuff, so I'm moving my face all around. But when you're home alone, hopefully you're not doing too much face manipulation while you home alone doing your makeup. So I'm just doing the other side, and then I just kind of blend out whatever like lines might be around. Like I can see that this side in the front is a little bit thicker than this side. A lot of times if I just go back in with my spoolie and blend up, that sometimes will fix the problem. Rather than adding more product, I'm just kind of moving around the product that's already there. Less is more with brow. Yeah, I'm also under a lot of light right now, and so like with a little less light, let's see, oh wait, no, that's the color of the light. With a little less light, you can see they look pretty normal. Yeah, actually I kind of like this. Should I film like this? I don't know, I gotta think about this. I kind of like that. Okay, I messed up the lighting, but we're just gonna deal with it. Trying to show you something. All right, so that's my eyebrows. I'm just gonna put a little bit of Fix Plus. Get a little moisture going on. Love the smell. The smell is actually really gorgeous. But today I'm gonna use this like one size face primer. Love it so much. I'm gonna put a couple dabs on my face. Okay, a little goes a long way. Mostly putting it in the super oily spots for me, which is like my entire face. Kidding, but not. Cool. Yeah, moving on to my foundation. I've been thinking about doing that like shade twin trend. Let me know if you want me to do it. Okay, anywho, I am caught up between the Morphe and the MAC foundation right now, but I think I actually am going to use Morphe today. Love both of them. Let's back out a little bit. Okay, so there are 50 million ways to apply foundation. I prefer using a brush most of the time, and I'm going to use a brush today. This brush is from Wet n Wild, although I don't think it's that deep. Like, I just like the shape of the brush. It's a buffing kind of brush. You can buff the foundation into your skin, and I just really appreciate it. I also use a flat brush, and I can use the same flat brush I was just using to kind of move the foundation around the smaller areas of my face, or to, like I said, recarve out my eyebrows, which I don't really need to do, but for the sake of just like blending a little bit, I will do a little bit of that. Sometimes I put the foundation straight onto the brush, and then other times I put it on my face. I'm being good though, because I'm trying to set an example, you know what I'm saying? And the one thing I like about this foundation, this actually both of these foundations, the MAC and the Morphe, is that they just blend so easily into my skin. Like the fact that I actually found my exact shade in these brands, it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy, because if you know, you know, there was a point in time where a lot of the girlies had to blend foundations together, sometimes of different brands, had to blend them together to like get their exact shade. And we've come so far as far as like formulas, ingredients, social awareness, that people even care to like have more diverse shades, like shade ranges and stuff. We've come so far. Moving off of foundation, this is my Juvia's Place. I think this actually, is this a foundation stick? I don't even remember, but I use it as a bronzer contour situation. It's almost out, it's in Congo. This is my favorite one. It's beautiful. And I'm just gonna do some like very loose contouring situation here, because I am not the biggest fan in the whole wide world of contouring, except for like, I don't know, I spent a lot of time just thinking about why we do that, especially when it comes to our noses as Black people. And I just have a lot of thoughts about it. Your girly is a socially aware being. And so like I do some level of contouring to bring out some of my features, and I leave a lot of it alone. And so I mostly just do like my cheeks, the nose, which none of this has to be perfect because we get ready to blend it out. And then I like being able to like contour my forehead a little bit, because she big. Okay, then I have this brush that is a little bit like angled, but it is also kind of like a buffing, but it is also like a buffing brush of some sort. And this is my favorite brush to be able to like blend out my contour. And I kind of like do this like flippity motion when I'm blending, just because like I kind of want everything going up, like my up versus like down, you know what I mean? So I put like, my placements are kind of high, my blend technique is high because I just want my face to sit up, or the illusion of my face sitting up. Nobody wants a little droopy face. On my forehead, I tend to blend back into my hairline. And then for my nose, I'm gonna get a smaller brush, and I draw it up towards my eye and in here like this. And I intentionally do my contour before the highlight, because the highlight fixes any mistakes that you might have made. And I think today I'm gonna do a super high highlight, so I'm gonna use this Infallible. I'm still new to this product, but I think the next time I go to the store I am gonna get a darker color, because I don't always like a super high highlight, but sometimes I do. Anyway, I'm gonna put this here, just a little bit here, okay, and a little bit here. And then we're gonna actually place, and then we're just gonna manually place the product on my face. Just because this particular product, I learned very quickly that a little goes a long way. A little goes a long way. Okay, going on the nose, coming out here to the forehead. If you want to put a little on the chin, you can do that. I might put a little under the eyebrow. And then just to smooth things out, I'm gonna use my little, what are we calling these? My little puffy thing, you know. I lost some of my eyebrow in there, so I'm just gonna fix that really quick. Never ever adding more product than what's already just on the brush. Now lately I've been into using powders that are a little bit darker than the banana powder. This one is from Black Radiance. It's a loose setting powder, obviously. I don't know, they're a true complexion brand and I really enjoy it. So I'm just gonna like pat some here, okay, get rid of some of that excess, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and let it sit on my face. Get that in there. I'm just gonna put a little bit on my forehead because your girl be shiny. Now while that's sitting, this is my favorite product. I think you'll see it a lot of times as you watch my content. Hopefully I don't wear you out about it. But this is the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer in Butter Than You. And they have a whole bunch for like different skin tones and stuff, and they're all really, really beautiful. So I'm gonna go back in with the same brush that I was using earlier, the angled one, and I kind of just do this little buffy motion inside the pan, and then I do the same buffy motion on my face. See that? And I'm gonna do it basically in all the spots that I was just doing the contour on my forehead. And then I take what's left on the brush, not adding any more product, and I'm gonna sweep away the powder that's on my under eye. I noticed that like doing it this way kind of like just blends everything together. Now, I don't actually know what type of blush I want to use or highlight. I think I'm gonna wait until I decide what kind of overall look I'm gonna do, because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I consider those to be a part of my base, because this is the base. Like, this is the base. I actually think incorporating the blush or highlighter goes into a look. Not necessarily like, you know, the blank canvas we're going for. So lastly, we're gonna use some of this continuing setting spray from Morphe. I love the way this feels, the way that the mist feels, like the fact that it says mist and it actually gives mist. Love. So my face is all wet and I'm just gonna fan it out. Now some days, depending on what I'm looking for, I might just stop here as far as the base goes. And then on other days, you know, applying setting spray sometimes makes my forehead just a little bit more glowy than I want. And so I'll go back in. This is like a big fluffy brush, but I'll go back in with the powder, especially while it's still kind of damp. And I'll go back on my forehead and matte that out again. See that? But I usually will leave the rest of my face alone because it looks so glowy and healthy. Yeah, glowy and healthy. Yeah. Anyway, this is my base. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, or like, you know, a tip or trick or whatever. And if you did, let me know. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.